Hello, everyone. My name is Aaron Christensen. This is Horror 101 with Dr. AC, and welcome back to The Stack. Today, we're going to be talking about Encounters of the Spooky Kind, released on Blu-ray from Eureka, directed by and starring Hong Kong superstar Sammo Hung, who also did the action choreography. Now, I confess, I came kind of late to the whole Hong Kong cinema movement. I know there were people out there combing the video stores in these little, Chinese shops, people who were tracking down these amazing films directed by people like Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, John Woo. But those were people that weren't really on my radar. I would say that probably until the mid 90s was when I first knew about John Woo because The Killer and Hard Boiled were playing over here in the States. That was around the same time that Jackie Chan's Rumble in the Bronx got its big release here in the States. And so suddenly I became aware of Hong Kong cinema and I began seeking out more and more of it. But I can't say I was one of those people who was digging through the non-subtitled releases and soaking it all up from the get-go. I confess I was a little late to the game. But I'm thrilled that I'm on this journey now. As I say to anybody, we're all on our own journey. And we're encountering things at the time when we're encountering them. And that doesn't make us any more or less of a fan. It just means we're at a different timetable. Anyway, this film, Encounter of the Spooky Kind, I'd never even heard of until my friend Grant put it in front of me saying, hey, here's this film. It's directed by Sammo Hung. And I was like, oh yeah, that's Jackie Chan's kind of, older, bigger brother from the Peking Opera days. I'm a little more seasoned now, so I do know about Jackie Chan coming to the States and doing The Protector and then going back home and doing his own action movies the way he wanted to do them. And then later, Rumble in the Bronx became a big hit, and that's when he became an international superstar on a much bigger scale rather than just kind of that really cool guy who does those Hong Kong movies. Sammo Hung was also somebody who was very famous in Hong Kong for his action movies, and he also dabbled in that same kind of action comedy that Jackie Chan did. And this film, Encounter of the Spooky Kind, was a dabbling in not just action, not just comedy, but also introducing the realm of the supernatural and horror. Now, I remember when my friend John Kitley first introduced me to Mr. Vampire, which is a 1985 Hong Kong effort that again combines horror and fantasy and comedy and action. It's much more moody, and it introduces the idea of the hopping vampire, which is something I'd never seen before. And I thought, wow, here I am discovering this new monster. Well, it turns out that Encounter of the Spooky Kind, which has a timestamp of either 80 or 81 on it, depending on what sources you look at. So it predates Mr. Vampire by a full 5 years. But it also has these hopping vampires who jump around. They've got their arms stretched out in front of them like a Frankenstein monster. And Sammo Hung's character, he is a rickshaw driver. His wife is having an affair with one of the officials in town. He doesn't know about it, but once the official gets concerned that Sammo might know about it, he hires this evil wizard, and they dare Sammo to spend the evening in this haunted castle. And while he's there, he's going to resurrect this hopping vampire, and that's going to take Sammo out of the picture, and then the official will never have to be scandalized. Problem is that the evil wizard has a brother who's a good wizard, and he takes up with Sammo and says, I'm going to help you fight this evil spell. And so it's wizard against wizard, and it's Sammo against the hopping vampire. And if it all sounds a little ridiculous, that's okay. It is, but it's really fun. It's fun, ridiculous. And those who know Sammo for his incredible action films like Enter the Fat Dragon and Eastern Condors, this showcases him because Sammo's a big guy. He's not huge, but he's a big guy. He's a much thicker version of Jackie Chan. And watching him hurl himself around and do these acrobatics and do that kind of found weapon fighting that Jackie Chan is known for. There's an incredible scene in this tea house where Sammo uses a bench to fight off a bunch of attackers, and he is all over the place, and it will remind you of Jackie Chan because, again, these two are very much peas in a pod. They did a ton of films together and separately. They would direct each other. They would act alongside each other, and they were huge, huge, huge stars in Hong Kong. And it turns out this film was much more significant than I had even anticipated, because it was one of the first times when we saw horror and action and comedy all combined into the same film in Hong Kong. It's also the first time that we saw the hopping vampires on screen, and it would give birth to the Mr. Vampire franchise, of which I think there are like 4 or 5 of them. But the bottom line is it's just a really, really entertaining film, and Eureka has an incredible release of it. So it's got this really nice slipcover, and then there is this great 2-sided poster. So you got 2 sides. One is the cover art, and one is the Hong Kong cover art. And if we go a little deeper, you got your Blu-ray, which also has some really nice interior art. And then there is a 24-page booklet with some great liner notes and photos. So it's a really great package. As far as the supplements themselves, this is a brand new 2K restoration. It's got several different audio tracks. It's got the original mono presentation in Cantonese. Then there's the home video Cantonese version. There's an original English dub, and then there is an updated English dub. And then there's an awesome audio commentary track by Frank Zheng of the New York Asian Film Festival, which provides tons of context and talks about like where this film lands in Sammo Hung's career. There's also a great little 12-minute interview with Sammo Hung years later. So he's looking back on his career. He talks about his upbringing. He talks about being taken to the Peking Opera and meeting Jackie Chan and training alongside him, and how difficult it was, how challenging it was. And while the film is a little goofy at times and may take a little bit of getting used to in terms of the comedy, I think that for fans of Hong Kong cinema, it's absolutely going to go down great. And for people who are newcomers to it, I think if you're just a little patient and kind of get into the flavor of it, I think you'll really have a great time. Again, the action sequences, there are at least 3 show-stopping action sequences that will blow your mind. I'm sure you could find them on YouTube right now if you were to look. And in fact, if I can find them, I'll put them right up here. But this is also a great way to kind of step outside of your comfort zone, check out something you haven't seen before, and maybe get a taste of Hong Kong cinema from back in the golden age of Golden Harvest. So that is Encounters of the Spooky Kind, which is just a lot of fun to say, by the way. Available now on Blu-ray from Eureka. Let me know your thoughts on Hong Kong cinema, Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, and I'll have another 5 titles down below in the description of this video. You let me know what you'd like to see taken off the stack. Until next time, keep searching, keep exploring, and keep sharing the scare.